Well, hello everybody. I am Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl again of Cosmic Owl Astrology, back with Erica Robinson for another episode of Charts and Cards in Black and White. And we are having so much fun doing this. Well, I am anyway. I hope you are.
We are. Yeah, we are.
Before we dive in, though, I would like to remind you that we actually met the first time and then decided to keep doing it to talk about Erica's book and cards. Do you have your book to hold up again, Erica?
Oh, of course, yes.
Of course. Well, it's also, there's a
Book.
link to it in my Amazon store. So this is the language of Land, or however you say it, doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah. And Erica, you can see the pictures behind her. They're the images on the cards that she uses, which is Erica's Lenormand Hope deck. So in the gorgeous tin. So don't forget to check them out. And also, I always mention it that I've written 3 books as well, and they're in the Amazon as well. And today, fun.
Oh,
This is
the sound is going in and out, just so you know.
Oh, is it working now?
Well, yeah. Say more.
I'm gonna ditch these.
Okay.
Bear with us. Okay. All right. Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah. Well, we're heading towards a Mercury retrograde, and we have Mars conjunct Uranus today, which can make electrical things a little bit wonky. So sorry about the sound. But anyway, look at this for fun. So
that's great. Cosmic Owl t-shirt. I love it.
And so I actually have a store on my YouTube if anybody wants any merch. I don't care. And honestly, if you like it, buy it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not going to promote it heavily, but I just thought it was a bit of fun because I do love my logo. So, and this logo has the apple of discord on it. Anyway, so what a time we've had since we last met. We had Friday night. I think we all know the events, and I'm not going to comment on the event itself, but I quickly just want to go back and look at his chart. And that's JD Vance. We're going to look at him as well, but just to kind of go over some of the things the astrology said, and the cards pretty agreed really anyway. So this is Donald Trump's chart here. And then we have the actual where the planets were on Friday night at 6:11 p.m. That's generally been reported as the time of the first shot. Now, really, I'm just repeating things. I did say that this Mars-Uranus conjunction that is exact today was square to his 12th house Mars, and that it would be worse for him than for President Biden, who has it opposing him. And no matter what you think of the shooting or whatever it was, event itself, I don't think it's going to come out well for him, but we'll see. But incidentally, I did also mention that this conjunction is conjunct fixed star Algol, and one of the symbolisms for the astrological fixed star Algol is actually losing your head. And I talked about it in terms of you can lose your head in many ways, but if he was actually injured, it was in the head. But also the poor person that died, his supporter, was shot in the head. I read
as was the
shooter. I was just about to say that. Yep. Yeah. The shooter's head was literally blown off, apparently. So just, astrology is amazing sometimes. But I just quickly want to go back to Saturn and Nessus here, that both stationed retrograde recently, square to his natal Uranus and his lunar nodes and this whole opposition that he's born on, the eclipse. And I said at the time that this is going to be a turning point for his campaign. But now this is in what's called, this is the house of hidden enemies. And I said whatever happened would come at him sideways because it's a square,
Mhm.
side of the head. And then this is the house of open enemies. And I kind of think his enemies are going to start coming out of the water as a result of kind of what happens from these events. Okay. The other thing is, I don't think this is going to win him the election at all. Erica agrees. We've both said it. The polls, we've only had a couple of polls, and the polls I do not trust anyway. But they've not moved since Friday night. You know.
Right. Well, he continues to be in danger. This was not a 24-hour, one and done kind of a situation for him, I don't think.
I don't think so. Well, this Mars Uranus conjunction is kind of the start of a cycle.
That's right. And I think you're right. I think that hidden enemies from his own camp are
Mhm.
what he will need to worry about, because a lot of people have been radicalized, and there are certain positions which he is equivocating on. The main one, of course, being a total ban on abortion. There are people who say, wait, what? Wait, what? No, 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 you have to say X.
Yeah.
So, and I also think that, as we mentioned just before going on, that I wrote a Substack last week. I wanted to do it before today's convention because I wanted to opine with the cards on who the nominee would be for a vice president. And I did accurately predict that it would be Vance. But I also made the case that this had been a contentious selection, because Trump would have preferred someone else, uh, someone more wallpaperish, like the first one, like
Yeah.
Pence. But he was given, Trump has handlers, I believe.
Mhm.
Um, the same people who are head of Project 2025, which is why when he says, I don't know anything about it, they say, oh yeah, he knows all about it and his name's all over. These same people insisted on Vance, and Vance is, I think for the moment, he will be a terrific surrogate pit bull.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
But he, as my cards showed in the Substack, he has his own interests, and therefore he is someone I would say would qualify as a hidden enemy of Trump. Trump knows it though.
I agree. And he went from being an avid never Trumper,
Mhm.
and he's a very new senator as well,
Mhm.
2022. So he's kind of being paid to do all this, I think. So whatever.
Well, he'll bring that the hillbilly vote.
Yeah,
I'm using that word because he used that word. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I actually, I'm a fan of Christopher Boozy, who formed Spoutable. After I thought this and after I started to look at the charts, he said this morning that this is a big mistake for that campaign. So, and I agree. So, I know Erica's pulling cards on it, but well done on kind of that reading. So I hope you're following her Substack, everybody, because we do stuff separately as well as together. I
Mhm.
just thought I'd have a quick look. Now, we have no time of birth for JD Vance, so I've just put a noon chart. So his moon placement is pretty unreliable because we don't know what time of day. It'll be at a different degree. But I'm just looking at this. He's a Leo. And his sun is at 10 degrees on Trump's Pluto in that house of hidden enemies, which isn't that interesting. So, he's going to be kind of hiding out and he's going to come out at some point. Also, his natal Pluto is at 29 Libra, aspecting Trump's ascendant at 29 degrees. that, I'm going to say it, really pompous kind of pomposity with Mars on it, which kind of makes him like dictate and like the strong man image. And he's basically an actor, no offense to any Leo risings, but they are very dramatic, and he's got a 29-degree one. And he's basically good at putting on that pompous front. I don't know if you've seen, Erica, all this.
Yeah, no, I
I've
have.
never seen a man as strong as him. They're all going on Twitter, and I'm like, what?
Right,
Kidding.
right.
But this kind of suggests to me these two Pluto aspects is not great again for the Donald, let's say. So
Well, I pulled cards for it too,
yeah,
just specifically on him as a running mate. And that meant that the card I chose for Vance is the dog, because in Lenormand, the dog is sort of the friend, the support, right?
yeah.
And that's what a vice president's meant to be, is a support. So
Mhm.
that card's in the middle. So I got the young man,
Mhm.
the scythe,
And he is actually one of the young men.
is that the scythe, then the dog that I showed you, the garden, and then the ring. And I pulled some more clarifiers, but I'll talk about those in a minute. So yes, he is young and relatively inexperienced in the world of politics, but he was the decision that the handlers made. They wanted him. Garden is about the public, because they want the public to have a certain image of the ticket,
Yeah.
which is that this is not just a one-off with Trump. We're creating a ticket that we want to have, and here's the ring, continuity. Continuity. If Trump is however old, 78, whatever, here's this young guy, and he will carry the torch should anything happen or in the next term. So then I decided I would pull a few clarifying cards. The first, I pulled 3 clarifying cards for himself, for Vance himself. And I got the moon, the key,
Mhm.
and then the older man. So the theory is that this will kind of spiff up Trump's image. Vance has not, well, I think he's a bad guy, but his image is not as dirty, sullied, we'll say, as this
He's,
guy who is Trump,
he's
right?
not been around long enough yet.
No, he hasn't been around, exactly. And then for the garden, which is people, I have child, I have bear, and I have mice. And this is saying that this is actually ends up not being about the people, but I think that the public, which is what this is, will get the impression that this younger, newer, fresher thing is maybe cooler than Trump, or at that's, I mean, and whether that's true or not doesn't matter. This is what Trump, this is my card for him, the narcissist card, fears. That's
Mhm.
what he's worried about, is that Vance will be too new and shiny, and then that will tarnish Trump. And then for the ring, which is this continuity of platform, we'll call it, like the 2025 project, etc. The clarifiers were the book, the cross, and the tree. What does this continuity mean? The book is about things we don't know, things that are hidden.
Yeah.
Uh, and then we have the cross, which is a card of pain.
Mhm.
And what they want to do, of course, is create something again with roots and a trunk and branches and leaves that will grow. And the young man mirrors, that's the first card over to the left, mirrors the tree. So he is the future. He is the future. Trump is not, that's not how he thinks. It's
No.
he's in the moment and right now, and who's cheering for me now and who likes me now.
He's so,
But that's
so
not the
bright.
party. That's not
He's
what the party does. He's so yesterday, as they say.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
so and his whole chart is of somebody who's very impulsive. And
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So, you know,
I think this will be an uneasy alliance.
oh, I think it's going to be really challenging,
Yeah,
to be quite honest.
yeah.
There's a couple of other things I could mention. Trump's transiting Chiron now is at 23 Aries, and incidentally, that's square Trump's Saturn in Cancer and Venus conjunction in the 11th house, which is often kind of like the public message and things. I kind of think he's going to have his poor ouchie little childhood wounds pinged a lot,
Yes.
even if we don't see it. So
Yeah, because both in the reading that I just did and in the one that I did on Substack, that is very clear. This is very threatening to him.
oh, and he's
Yes.
a very wounded person.
Right, right.
Very wounded. Yeah, in a lot of ways, which is kind of why he behaves as he does.
Mhm.
A lot of the times, and
So sad, but nevertheless,
oh,
he's a monster.
oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
So, I'm just tuning in to see if there's anything else I wanted to say about their connection. I find it interesting as well, though, that JD Vance has Venus in Leo at 23 degrees, which is also being aspected by that transiting Chiron, but that's very close to Trump's own Mars in Leo as well. So that can sometimes be a good relationship, but when I look at the and it means relationships. But when I look at the overall chart, I think again it's going to challenge his strongman persona as well, because
Does that placement speak at all to charisma on the part of Vance? That
it
particular placement?
it does a little bit, but unfortunately, because I don't know what time he was born,
Mm.
Venus in Leo can be very
Venus
challenging.
and Leo is making me think charisma.
Oh
And, nobody wants to be out charismaed. I mean,
no,
Trump does not want to be out charismaed. Yeah.
especially him, yeah, with his big ego. So
Mhm.
which is so easily punctured. So yeah, Venus in Leo, and we haven't seen a lot of him. I mean, I don't find him personally charismatic, but I think other people might. So
I think people will. He's got very pretty eyes. He
true,
he wrote a book that was made into a movie. So anybody who's starstruck will, appreciate that.
yeah.
And remember, we're not talking about us being attracted to
Oh
him.
no,
It's
no,
it's that particular block voters that will be attracted by him.
yeah. I'm really hoping somebody finds out his time of birth. That would really seal it. But Venus, yes, well, and he's a Leo as well, and they can be. He's he's got Sun. Well, if I don't look at the asteroids and the minor things, Sun and Venus in Leo, he's pretty yeah, got that star.
As a Leo myself,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it.
yeah. But he's got that star quality,
Mhm.
to some.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, Trump has talked often in the past about the concept of central casting.
mm,
And in his administration, he would pick certain people whom he thought were looked like they came from central casting. In
mm,
some ways, if you're talking about that particular electorate, JD Vance comes out of central casting, and that would be fine if Trump were not sort of physically and mentally not on the downslide, right? Because that's where his ego will be hurt. If this had been 4 years ago, maybe he would have been okay with somebody from central casting being his VP, but not now.
Trump's been kind of living on, you're fired and all
Right.
his that persona kind of thing. But how many younger voters ever kind of
Right.
heard that?
That's right.
Whereas, you know, the movie and the book, very different, I think.
That's right.
So we'll see. Woof. But but I actually, you know, I don't think it's good for this campaign, this mix as well. So I don't know if you have any thought or your cards have any thoughts on
Well, I
that.
mean, I'm going to say it's not good because I think Trump will find it very difficult. And when he finds things difficult, he
He
he's
does
not
reactive thing.
right. It's not right. I think they want his handlers will have difficulty controlling him.
I think
He will
yeah.
have trouble controlling himself.
Yeah.
And I think that that's dangerous for him. He is a prop. He is a prop. And if he doesn't act the part of a prop the
Mm.
way that they want, they'll find a way to
Oh,
make life difficult for him or shove him to the side or any number of things.
absolutely. Well, you know, they'll just, you know, kind of release more of his seedy past, which is
Right.
all working there,
Well,
you know.
that okay, you know what? You said something, I don't know if it was last week or the week before. And at the time I didn't see it, but I'm hearing a lot of buzz on the street
About
about about Epstein. And I think we should look at that,
yeah.
or, I should certainly look at it again.
Well, you know, just astrologically, I really kind of think that's that Saturn Nessus conjunction that was squaring when they both went retrograde. Saturn goes direct on November, so right after the election. So this whole time, this is all happening in his house of open enemies. And because Saturn and Nessus, which is Nessus is abuse of power and power over women, power over whoever, you know. I think something's coming out. It's that there's some stuff on Twitter already. The media are not covering it, of course, as usual. But anyway,
Well, you know, I I was probably the reason I wanted to look at it again is that and I hope this is helpful for people who want to start reading cards. It's a sort of a little bit of a caveat. It's very important to remove your ego from the situation because what my ego, I think, was telling me was, oh my God, been there, done that. How much, they elected him anyway. So, how
and because we follow these things so closely,
Mhm.
like, you know, how does everybody not know about this? But everybody doesn't apparently. So
Everybody doesn't know to the extent that they will. So I decided that I would use the birds as my focus card. Why? Because birds is
mm,
talk on the street, gossip about this whole Epstein thing. So
mm,
that's how I've charged the card. So I have the star, the mountain, the
mm,
birds that I showed you, the house, and the key. Now you can read
mm,
this in a lot of ways, so I decided to pull clarifiers, but just to look at that line, the star is about the future, okay?
yeah.
And his future could be blocked
Mm,
um, because that's what a mountain is. But
yeah.
then we have the house and the key. And it could be that what's blocked is his access to the house. This is the White House, and this would
Yeah.
be access to the White House. So then I thought, well, Erica, is this again your ego? Because now you're seeing what you want to see. So I said, well, let me pull cards and see. So for the birds, the gossip, I have clover,
Mm,
bouquet, and man. Now this is in the center position, which means that this is where we are to date. So in other words, so far, up to now, the fact that this was made short shrift of, right? That it was, Clover is here and then it's gone. It's ephemeral. So yeah, we know that he gropes women and grab them by the whatever, was a gift to him. The bouquet is a gift. It was a gift to him. But now we move forward in time where we have the house. And guess what? The clarifiers are the coffin and the
mm,
whip.
ooh,
Coffins are about endings, about being hemmed in, about being imprisoned,
Yeah.
and being really
Or
tortured.
literally buried. Bury his casket.
Buried and then tortured, tortured and then buried, whatever. But these are not good cards because these speak to, again, access to the White House. It could be, this is like his choice, his chances being buried, because one of the things that Project 2025 doesn't want is a lot of back and forth about this women thing.
Oh no, they
I
would.
looked at the key, and because the key is a wonderful card, it's like the answer to things.
Mm.
And I got clouds. So that's good. That's doubts. And then scythe and heart. I'm going to say this. If he hasn't had uh, a cardiac event yet, he will over this.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
This will do him in, because of course, he's like, his Teflon, right? I mean, nothing touches him because he's demonic, in my opinion. However, this doesn't look good. And at the very least, this causes him enough worry and concern to cause his heart to kind of, I don't know, AFib or do something. But a lot of times these two cards together are heart attack.
Well, and just to go back to that astrology again of this Mars Uranus conjunction, square his Mars in Leo. Leo is the heart, and Uranus is kind of, erratic kind of
Yeah.
energy. So, even if he doesn't like have a big heart attack, that it
Well, a little one is sufficient to diminish him
they
and to
show
build
up
up JD.
exactly.
Yeah.
They show up in different ways. Yeah,
Mhm.
is my point. Yeah. So, and if you support Trump, you're welcome to be polite in the comments, but I won't accept, rude comments. They'll just get hidden and you'll get blocked from the channel. But anyway,
Maybe you're coming because you you like him, but you
you
have a
need,
feeling,
there's something, yeah,
right? So just, hopefully you'll have your ears open as you listen.
yeah, hope so, hopefully, yeah. But I just think it's none of this at this point is looking good for the Donald in so many ways.
In a lot of ways. Appearances, I mean, we just said it doesn't look good, but outward appearances to the contrary, of course, right?
Mhm.
That's the thing. And I think that people's guards will be let down because of that. They
Mhm.
look at the Canon decision, oh, now we have a VP, and everything's fine.
And you've got
Everything's
this
not
iconic image of,
right. Oh, yeah, that was a little fortuitous, was it not?
wasn't it? Mm,
Mm,
perfect timing, really. Yeah.
mhm.
Gives me the strong man, and now we can make all this merch with my image on it.
Within minutes,
Yeah.
the merch was out. I'm just
Mhm.
going to leave it at that,
Yeah.
because I think, you know, uh, in the press conference that the statement that Biden made right
Mm.
after, as he was walking out, a reporter asked him, and I always want to say, just keep walking, Joe, don't answer them.
I know. We we sit there literally saying
but
that.
but but a reporter said, so what do you think happened? Like, what do you think that was about? And he said, well, I have my theories, but that's not fact. So I will wait to see. But Joe, Scorpio that he is, aside from being very good in foreign policy, he is really in the weeds of uh, security.
Yeah, very much.
He's very good at that. So, and again, Scorpio. So
Yeah.
if there are secrets to be found out about
Oh,
this incident,
especially
he will
with
know them well before we do.
especially with Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Venus
Mhm.
in Scorpio, and in his 12th house too. He'll keep them close to his chest.
That's right, which he should. He
Oh,
should.
Yeah, absolutely, he should.
until the time is right.
Time, yeah. But I do notice that the chatter about him withdrawing has calmed down.
Yes. Well, okay, so
Gone, gone.
tonight, wait a minute.
Mhm.
Tonight, there it will be an interview. Did you know?
Oh no, I didn't.
On NBC with Lester Holt.
Oh, okay.
Unscripted.
Oh, I'll be watching that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
because
not sure what time, and it'll be earlier for you and me than it will be for East Coast, but
yeah,
yeah.
I'll look at the time in a minute. But I do see that, I just put up quickly, the news stories about him dropping out, and I do see that my favorite man, Bernie,
Mhm.
who yes, he ran against Hillary, but he will, he's sensible. He's such a Virgo. He will do the right thing, for the country. And he's, backed Biden all the way. And he's called on Democrats to drop all this silliness about him withdrawing. I think I said I felt like all this opposition to his Scorpio from this Mars Uranus conjunction, well, I felt he could deflect it, and he would just stand strong, because you never.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, listen, did you hear about this? Okay, so Biden was in Detroit.
Mm.
That's where he gave that terrific,
Oh,
amazing
yeah. Oh,
speech.
that was
Okay,
fantastic.
but Detroit is in what state? Michigan.
Uh,
And who is the governor of Michigan?
oh,
Gretchen Whitmer.
oh,
And
she's
where
she's
was she?
yeah.
Do you
Go
know
on.
what they say? They say that the reason she wasn't there, because really a governor should be there. I mean, it's the president of the United States. She was not there because she was at a meeting of moneyed, big money donors
Mm.
who wanted to discuss with her, perhaps just sort of feel around the edges of a brokered convention.
Oh,
Now she says, I'm Biden all the way. But I
yeah.
mean, what were you doing over there? Why were you not in Detroit greeting your president?
Yeah, but
And all is fair in love, and war and politics is war. So who knows what will happen at that convention?
yeah, definitely. Oh, but again, I know she's ambitious, and it's her last term as governor, so she's out of a job after this.
I'll
So,
tell you what, aside from it being a slap in the face to Joe,
mm,
it would,
I
it would
still
be a,
think he's capable of
I think
withstanding.
he's going to stay, but I'm saying
Mm,
it would be a slap in the face
mm.
to Kamala.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she's standing right there. She's the vice president, and these donors are saying, "Yeah, no, no, no," because she's the black one. Well, let's see who's next in line that looks more, again, central casting. We'll
Mm,
go with Whitmer. And Whitmer, she's a politician. Politicians are opportunists.
he's
So she at the
absolutely,
very least had the conversation with them.
yeah. But I encourage anybody who kind of, you mentioned, because she's a black woman. I was on one of these spoutable podcasts with Christopher Boozy, or actually I've been listened to a couple now. It's all black women on it, and if you want to hear what they have to say about all of this,
Mm.
go and listen to his podcast.
Well, I know I'm a black woman
I
and I have
agree. Well,
lots of black women friends, so I know.
I know
Yeah.
you do, but I agree with everything they're saying. So, but if people kind of want to kind of tune in and listen, then that would be such a big mistake. But anyway, I found it starts at 9 p.m. The
Oh,
interview,
okay.
Lester
Nine.
Holt.
So that's six for me.
Yeah, yeah. So 7 for me, and the sun is right on Biden's Jupiter, which is his
That's
ruler.
good.
Oh, it's great. The
Right.
moon is in Scorpio, going over all his Scorpio planets.
Mhm.
Oh, I think he's actually going to do really well. And I've mentioned before that Mercury is up here now in his ninth house, which is a very strong place for it in Leo. I think he's going to do great in it. And other good thing is that Mercury is at 20 degrees and square his natal Mercury in fixed signs. Now, he has that Mercury in Scorpio in the 12th house.
Right.
This probably helps or is a factor in his stumbly words and his gaps and and the actual stutter that he has, the actual disability. But having a Mercury in Leo square his Mercury with the moon on it here, I kind of feel like it's kind of he's going to speak more strongly than usual, even more like that talk in Michigan, which was just amazing. It's the best
It was
speech
so good.
seen him
Well,
do.
you know what else was good? I thought was what he said last night, or was it last night? Saturday night? Saturday night.
Mm,
Um, I thought it was brilliant because, one of the things I've heard a lot of people say is we need to not do this both sides ism, like, because we're not doing anything. It's the other side with the guns and the violent talk and all of that. But he was great. He was like, uh, violence has to stop, etc. And then he proceeds to tick off all the incidents
I miss that.
that
Like what, like Pelosi and all this?
yes. And I thought, you know what? That's perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
Perfect. So that was good. Um,
yeah. My opinion is the astrology for this interview looks good for him. So, mhm.
well, I don't know because I used him as my focus card. So that's this older, distinguished looking gentleman. So that's in the middle. And I have the fox. I have the star again.
Mm,
I have clouds and I have cross.
mm,
So I was fine when I saw the fox because the fox is an expert. This is a
mm,
pro. This is somebody who just in his sleep can do what needs to be done, um, which bodes well for the future.
mhm,
Then to have this followed by clouds,
mm,
uh, and then the cross, I think, I'm just going to say, I think he'll be fine again because I like the expert card coming out. But I also think it will cost him. I think every time he does one of these things, cost him. What I mean by that is in terms of energy. That's what I mean.
yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, he finds it hard doing that because
Right. I mean, it's past his bedtime, first of all. If it's 8 o'clock, that's supposed to be the
oh
curtain.
no, I don't know if you heard what he said about that though.
What did he say?
He said I didn't say that. He said I all I said was maybe if we had like a dinner, we started at 8 instead of 9, so it
It's
ends a bit
fair.
early.
All right,
He,
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah,
But I mean, I think he will be tired, but again, he's a pro.
yeah,
Pro.
yeah. And I think he will be tired at the end of it. I think he'll
The
be
end
okay.
of it.
But I always think when I see your fox card, I know you know the cards better than me. I always think foxes are cunning, and I think
But they are, and he with his Scorpio self,
oh,
he
so
is cunning, and it's the card for the pro, the expert, the if you go to the doctor, if you have something wrong with you, and the Fox card comes up, it's not just your regular GP.
mm,
You need to go to see a specialist because
yeah.
that's the card.
I do think even with the sun being on his Jupiter, which is great for him because it's in the eighth house and it's in Cancer. I think he's going to find it quite emotionally draining
Yeah,
because he's had all those people, the New York Times attacking him and people trying to get him to drop out and then dealing with whatever happened on Friday night with his opponent, all of those kind of things coming at him really. So it's a lot to deal with at the moment. Lots of
well, I think he dealt with his
oh,
opponent's
he's,
issue masterfully.
oh, I think he did. I think he was such a statesman with it personally. You can disagree, people, but you know.
No, I don't know how anybody could disagree because he was. I thought it was fascinating the statement Pelosi put out, which again was also stateswoman-like,
Yes, it was.
very typical of her. I mean, you could hear her say these things, but on Truth Social, did you see what Trump said that she said? She thinks I'm a scared puppy. She's a
Oh,
wicked witch. And I'm
I
like,
had
what?
somebody say that.
Where'd
Yeah.
you get that from?
Oh,
But it's projection. Everything is he was a scared puppy, is the point.
I
She
know
certainly didn't say that though, or she didn't even imply it.
he was. And Leo risings can behave a bit like scared puppies, by the way.
Well, there you go.
So. Is there anything else you'd like to look at, Erica?
Mm, no, I think it's been an eventful week. We've looked
Oh, it
at
really has.
most of it. I think with what happened, I think that sometimes it's good to let energy settle and let things come out as they come out when they're meant to come out.
Yeah,
And so there's no point in opining about conspiracy theories or anything like that.
it's just theory at the moment. Anyway.
It is theory. I mean, maybe in a week we can look at his intention or whatever, but
Yeah,
for now, I think I'm just riding high on the fact that the cards came through for me on Vance.
I know. Well done.
It will be, if nothing else, it'll be entertaining to
Mhm.
watch their interaction, their relationship grow or not as the months pass.
And I do want to kind of. I mean, obviously, I've, you know, I know quite a bit about Vance, but I'll probably be, you know, reading quite a bit more about him as we go forward. Ready for next week?
Sure, because if, he could be a heartbeat away,
Yeah, exactly.
God forbid.
Do you know he changed his name?
So from what to what?
He was born James Donald. Isn't that interesting? James Donald Bowman, and
Oh,
he changed it to Vance because of his tumultuous childhood. So,
alrighty. Well, they both had tumultuous childhoods. Maybe they can bond over that.
but you know, you was it? I wonder if it was his mother's name. I'll look more into that one. But isn't it interesting that his middle name is Donald?
Made for each other.
Aren't they?
Hmm.
Oh, I do love being able to talk with you about these things, Erica. So,
Do
you
you?
know, thanks everybody for listening again. And, you know, we love your comments. Please keep them respectful, you know, even if you don't agree with us, if you are respectful, that's fine. But if you are disrespectful, or come on, you know, for example, calling Biden Brandon, I'll just
Nobody's going to do that. Because
oh,
why? I mean, there's so much
they
else.
already, they
No,
already have.
they won't. No. I look at this audience. Would you believe that of them? I wouldn't.
Well, I think we find some random audience people, not our regular listeners when it
Right.
comes.
Well, that's what the
Yeah,
belief
yeah.
is for.
Exactly. So that's who I'm speaking to, not our
Yeah,
wonderful regular audience who at least know me well, and now you're getting to know Erica well as well. So we love you. You are amazing, and we thank you for every thumbs up
that's right.
and comment you leave us, and for watching these videos. So until next week, then, Erica, don't forget
All
to
right.
check.
Well, hopefully it won't be quite as eventful as
Oh, good God, it was exhausting.
as exhausting.
But we do have a bit of a gnarly full moon coming up this weekend. So, you know,
Okay.
see you next time, guys.
See you next time.